Good morning. We welcome you and thank you for joining us today for the North Carolina APCO and North Carolina NENA Fall Education Showcase. Now, before we begin today's event, please join us as we honor the United States of America and reflect on the 20th anniversary of the September 11th attacks. Earlier this week, we commemorated the 20th anniversary of the September 11th, 2001 attacks on the United States of America. We ask that you would join us now for a moment of silence.
And thank you for joining us for today's first North Carolina APCO and North Carolina NENA virtual fall education showcase. We're glad to have you all here. Our schedule for today is kind of set. We're going to do our chapter meetings first, and then at 1 o'clock, we will start with Tony Harrison's presentation. Today's event is being conducted using a Zoom webinar, and attendees will not be able to turn on your cameras or microphones, but we do encourage you to interact using the chat or Q&A feature throughout our chapter meetings and the training sessions. We will be monitoring those. I will now introduce North Carolina APCO Chapter President, Grayson Gussa, to begin our chapter meeting.
All right, well, thank you, Christine, and good morning again, everyone. I will now call this Friday, September 17th, 2021 North Carolina APCO chapter meeting to order. And I will throw it back now to North Carolina APCO First Vice President Christine Moore to conduct a roll call of our board members. And as the roll call is conducted, you will also be seeing a poll come up. If you can just respond to that while we're going through this, then we'll look at the results later in our meeting.
Okay, thank you very much, Grayson. Marissa Waters. Marissa All Waters. Gerald Anderson, we know, is teaching a class to our Saudi Arabia partners. Chad Deese.
I'm here.
Thank you. Good morning. Greg Dotson. Samantha Dutch.
Here.
Good morning. Travis Essick. Travis. Missy Ezel. Ray Gilliland.
Ray's here.
Good morning, Ray. Shantae Griffin.
I'm here. Good morning.
Good morning. Grayson, I've got you marked as present. Janet King.
Present.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Lori Laughlin, I believe, will not be able to attend today. Melanie Neal will not be able to attend today. Randy Surratt will be here, but a little bit later, so we will wait on him. Frank Thomason.
Good morning, Christine, present.
Good morning, Frank. Amanda Ward.
Good morning. I'm here.
Good morning, Amanda. Herman Weiss.
Good morning, Christine. I'm here.
Good morning, Herman. And Elton Wright.
Good morning, Christine. I'm here.
Good morning, Elton. I will turn it back over to you, Mr. President.
All right. Thank you,
Randy's
Christine.
here. I made it.
Hey, Randy, thank you.
You, Randy.
Good morning.
All right, so before we begin our meeting, I want to first recognize our corporate sponsors, Carolina Recording Systems, Horizon Consoles by SBFI, and Motorola Solutions. We thank them for their support, and you'll be hearing more from them here shortly in today's presentations. So we'll just leave that for that. Just a few other quick recognitions. When we were in person, we like to have these people stand up, but obviously, since we've learned to go virtual over the last 2 years now, we still want to make sure we recognize these people. So just want to recognize past North Carolina APCO presidents, North Carolina APCO chapter life members, APCO International senior and life members, registered public safety leaders or RPLs, and then our certified public safety executives or CPEs. And then there's one additional special recognition this morning for those who may not already know. Today is Christine Moore's birthday. So join me as we wish her a happy birthday today.
Thank you.
I know originally she had planned to be on a cruise and wasn't going to be with us today, but unfortunately that didn't happen. So we're glad you're with us. And I'll go ahead and apologize for the background noise on my end. The joys of having a new puppy, but I do apologize. Moving on in our agenda, I will look at our meeting minutes from our last meeting from July 16th. Minutes have been posted on our website, and I will entertain a motion to approve the minutes. Okay, a motion from Herman. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, and a second from Ray Gilliland. Any further discussion? All right, all in favor of approving the minutes, say aye.
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 Any opposed? Okay, thank you. So this morning, we are excited to welcome 2 new individuals to our North Carolina APCO board. I'm sorry, bear with me just one moment. Okay, we're excited to have 2 new members to our North Carolina APCO board. During the 2021 APCO International Conference in San Antonio, our very own David Dodd was nominated and elected to serve on the APCO International Board of Directors. So with this advancement, he did have to step down from his role as Executive Council Representative for our chapter. Since David has stepped down, I'm excited to announce to you that Frank Thomason has been appointed to serve the remainder of his term as Executive Council Representative, and that will run through the end of May of 2022. So for those of you who know, Frank Thomason has previously served as our Executive Council Representative from 1997 to 2017. So he is able to step back into this position with great experience and knowledge of the duties expected. So I know that he will do a great job representing our chapter at the national level. And just on a sidebar, make Frank feel a little bit older. Frank Thomason was the first person to actually hire me full-time as a telecommunicator back in 2002. So just wanted to throw that little tidbit of information out there. So it is a great privilege to introduce Frank Thomason as our interim Executive Council Representative. Also, earlier this year, when Herman Weiss was elected to serve as our second Vice President, it left the position of Region A, Regional Ambassador, vacant. So I'm excited to announce that Amanda Ward from Gates County Communications has been appointed to serve the remainder of that term for Regional Ambassador. And I will go ahead and turn it over to Second Vice President Herman Weiss to introduce Amanda and also provide the oath of office for both of them.
Thank you, Mr. President. So I've worked closely with Amanda Ward for the past 3 years. She is now the communications manager for Gates County. She is very dedicated to the industry. With that being said, I will now ask that Amanda and Frank, if you will please raise your right hand. You've been duly elected or appointed to the position in which you are about to serve. By this selection, you have been invested with the power of North Carolina chapter of APCO. It bestows upon you its confidence, trust, and places in your hands the duty of offices as established. Do you, under God, under country, and before these witnesses here assembled, hereby accept this power, this responsibility, this confidence, this trust, this establishment of duties, and solemnly swear to uphold and protect and execute to the best of your ability the aims and objectives of the North Carolina chapter of Association of Public Safety Communications Officials. If so, please say I do.
I do.
So be it. I now pronounce you duly established in your duties for the North Carolina APCO. Congratulations.
All right, thank you, Herman, and again, congratulations to Frank and Amanda. We're glad to have you on our board with us. So now we'll move into our chapter reports to the membership, and first going to turn it right back around and put him right on the spot and recognize Frank Thomason to share any executive council report he may have.
Thank you, Grayson. Good morning, everyone. As they said, as Grayson just shared, very proud to serve back with North Carolina APCO again after serving my 2 terms as an International Board of Director, Regional Representative. With David stepping down, David was in attendance at the International Executive Council meeting held recently last month in San Antonio, Texas, and I was also in attendance as the board member. The only item that I wanted to report is that the International Association continues to diligently look at the compassionate care issue across the nation. In doing so, they have formed a committee and continues to work toward that issue, and will be setting up outreach initiatives to individual state chapters across the nation to assist those chapters in furthering and setting up compassionate care throughout each one of our chapters throughout the nation. North Carolina is a leader in this initiative, and I'm sure Grayson and the board will be actively working with the national group as they go forward to continue to plan and push this initiative forward. So thank you to the board for what you will do in the future to help this initiative. And if there's any questions, I'll be glad to answer them. Thank you, Grayson.
All right, thank you, Frank. All right, our next report comes to us from Elton Wright, the Commercial Advisory Council update.
Yeah, the only thing I have to kind of mention this morning is just to relay thank you to both APCO and NENA boards for just the way you've worked with the commercial partners through the remote meetings and conferences, and going back and forth between that and on site. It's been tough to really try to figure out, how do you support the interest of the commercial partners, and just want to say thank you on behalf of Jennifer Taylor and I and all the commercial members. It's very clear that you care about the investments that the commercial partners are making, and it is acknowledged. So thank you to both APCO and NENA boards for the support and the way you're really working to maximize the investments of the commercial partners. That's all I have, Mr. President.
All right, well, thank you, Elton. We appreciate all of your continued support as well over the last 2 years. It seemed like 5 at this point. Our next report is the Compassionate Care Committee report, and I'll recognize Ms. Janet King.
Good morning. Since the last meeting, I have sent out 13 cards, 3 retirement cards. Congratulations to Monty Smith with Stanley County, 24 years. Dale Hall with Stokes County, 30 plus years. And Susan Poe with Chatham County, 28 years. Yes. Congratulations to each one of those. I sent out 3 cards concerning recovery of sickness, line of duty injuries, surgeries, accidents. 6 cards were sent out. People had deaths in families. And I did send out a card to an agency that had intense situations working when they had an officer shot in the line of duty. So I sent out a total of 13 cards. Please contact myself or any of the board members when you know of a situation that I can send a card, who it's for, maybe a bit of the background information about the situation, and an address if you've got that. and everybody's been really great about this. And I know that I get a lot of feedback from this. So I know it's something that when we do this and send these cards, they mean a lot. So just continue to keep us informed on what's needed out there across the state of North Carolina. And again, Christine, happy birthday to you. That's all I have, Mr. President.
All right. Thank you, Janet. For our conference committee report, our conference co-chair for the Public Safety Communications Conference is not able to be with us today due to some staffing issues at her home center. So I will recognize First Vice President Christine Moore to share updates on the upcoming May of 2022 annual conference.
Thank you, Mr. President. Your conference committee, joint conference committee has been working really hard in early preparations for our 2022 North Carolina Public Safety Communications Conference that will be May 1st through the 2nd of 2022. It will be held in the Wilmington Convention Center. Day passes will be $100 for APCO or NENA members and $125 for non-APCO or non-NENA members. Full registration will be $225 for APCO or NENA members and $250 for non-APCO and non-NENA members. That is the report, Mr. President.
All right. Thank you again, Christine. Our next report is the historian report, and I will recognize chapter historian Randy Surratt.
Good morning, everyone, and happy birthday, Christine. I received an email from Mr. Ken Roberts. He's with the Virginia chapter, and he's also a member of the National Historical Committee. And he and other members of that committee have been assigned chapters to touch base with, and North Carolina chapter is one of his. And he was asking me for items that can be added to the virtual museum at the national website. And I told him that there are quite a few items there already, and they actually have items in Florida that's in the historical exhibit every year at the national conference. But I do have some other bulletins that we have used for conferences, our state conferences, and also since the Symposium has a lengthy history, I have some items from that also, and that I would touch base with him, send him pictures, and work with him on that. And he will, I'm sure he will pass those on and get those on the virtual museum at the national site. So still working on my senior nominations for our members. I have a few more to go, and as things materialize, I'll report back to you. That's all I have for my report right now, Mr. President.
All right. Thank you, Randy. Our next report is from the North Carolina 911 Board. Melanie Neal is our chapter's representative to the 911 Board, and she is not able to be with us today. But we do have two of the regional specialists from the 911 Board joining us today to share just a few quick updates. So I will recognize both Stephanie Connor and Angie Turbyville to share updates on behalf of the 911 Board with us today.
Good morning, Grayson. Thank you so much. Just a few things to, it's been a very busy month, very busy time. For the EZNet, we are now in the triple digits, so that's very exciting. Alamance County was PSAP number 100 to go live on the EZNet, migrating August 30th. Newton PD, Hickory PD, and Catawba County migrated Wednesday, September 15th, so that brings our count to 103 PSAPs. So we are swiftly making our way to the finish line. Robeson County is next on September 21st to migrate. So we're very excited about that. The 2022 grant cycle has been completed. The grant committee did make recommendations to the board at the last board meeting. And the grants recommendations totaled $8,450,854.24. And I believe that was for about 12 PSAPs being awarded grants. Also, and so congratulations to those PSAPs who were awarded grants. Also this year, the grant committee has decided to offer up another grant opportunity in the Priority 1 collaboration grant. That is the new grant that came out of the process this year. And so collaborative efforts have been a priority for the 911 board. And the grant committee has elected to create a significant grant opportunity in the amount of $5 million. And it focuses on collaboration of PSAPs in the following areas. And it could be collaboration or consolidation of 2 or more primary 911 centers, or a regional effort. Could be bricks and mortar, radio, CAD to CAD. It's really up to the PSAPs to decide on this collaboration. Consolidation studies, primary to primary backup capabilities, radio communication consolidation, or co-location. So it's really, it is a collaborative effort. So whatever the PSAPs come up with a collaborative effort, and it's $5 million for that grant. So more information will be coming out on that very soon, as soon as the application is prepared and everything is ready, and a timeline. So we're still looking at the timeline for when applications on that will be due. We also expenditure reports. We're working on those now for the fiscal year 21. Those were due on September 7th, and the finance staff is swiftly working to complete 19 and 20 reports. I believe there's only 11 2019 reports to go, so they are swiftly working through and completing all expenditure reports that are there. And the education committee has been working on something very exciting. And I'm going to turn it over to Angie now to speak on a PSA that the education committee has been working on. Angie?
Okay, thanks, Stephanie. So in response to such a need for telecommunicators due to the ongoing staffing shortages, the North Carolina Board and the Education Committee have worked with Spectrum Reach to create a recruitment campaign that began airing on September 6th in the Durham television media market. The video campaign is being shown during such programs as Monday Night Football, on NFL, programming on A&E and FX, to name only a few, and it's also being shown on Spectrum News in several of the North Central counties. As part of this campaign, the board has created a web page with a listing of all centers across the state and a link to their local city or county's employment page. The recruitment campaign is going to run through the first week of November. Our goal with this is to push applicants to the PSAPs to increase the number of applications. And after this initial pilot program is assessed, we would like to take the campaign statewide. So, and lastly, for those who are interested in the recruitment video, it can be found on the board's website, and or you can contact me and I'll be happy to share the video if you wish to use it on your local social media outlets. So, and I would love to hear from anyone that has an applicant that said, hey, we saw this PSA, this recruitment campaign that was airing on their favorite, favorite show, and even better if you actually hire that applicant. So I would love to hear if this program is being effective and hopefully pushing some good applicants to your centers. So that is all I have, unless anyone has any questions or anything else.
One thing I will add is it's good to see both of you back. Stephanie Connor, past North Carolina APCO first vice president, and Angie, a past North Carolina NENA president. So we're glad to have you both with us today.
Thank you for having us.
Yes, thank you for having us, Grayson.
All right, so moving on in our agenda, our next is the training report. And like Christine mentioned earlier, Gerald is teaching an online class today, wasn't able to join us, but Christine will be sharing a training report on her behalf.
Thank you, Mr. President. So upcoming training opportunities, effective January 1st, 2021, all APCO classes offered by the chapter will now reflect a new rate. This rate increase is due to the increase in price for class books. And also note, all on-site training classes will require the following. All students must wear masks. All students must submit to a temperature check. All students will be arranged for social distancing, so classes will have strict attendee numbers. The North Carolina chapter of APCO is committed to offering training to our members and friends and will closely follow all executive orders issued by our governor and any additional agency safety protocols as our state now battles a very contagious variant strain of COVID. We do look forward to being able to offer more live training as the COVID numbers continue to improve in our great state. North Carolina APCO is pleased to announce that the 2021 Telecommunicator Training Symposium will be held October 4th through the 6th, 2021. The host site will be at the Embassy Suites in Greensboro, and our slogan is still going to be Soar to New Heights, Engage, Energize, and Empower. Registration and lodging are both open for this event, and the schedule has been posted on the Symposium website. The 2021 North Carolina School Directors Conference will be hosted at the Embassy Suites in Greensboro, October 19th through the 21st, 2021. This training event is mandatory for all school directors and qualified assistants. Rooms at the host site are full, but overflow rooms are available at the Homewood Suites and are available now at the negotiated state rate for attendees requiring overnight stay. Registration for the event opened on July 1st, 2021, and registration is $95 for each attendee. North Carolina APCO will be offering the APCO Supervisor course hosted by Onslow County 911 February 11th through the 13th, 2022. Pricing and registration information will be sent out via the listserv. North Carolina APCO will be offering the APCO Certified Training Officer CTO course hosted by Onslow County 911 March 18th through the 20th, 2022. Pricing and registration information will also be sent out soon via the listserv. Side note, if you do wish to host a class or would like to see a certain topic offered in classroom format or online platform, please contact Gerald Anderson via email. Here is your friendly reminder. Today is September 17th, 2021. You have 3 months and 13 days to finish your 2021 Telecommunicator in-service training. It is required for those TCs that work under the direction of a sheriff. It is required for all staff hired on or before June 30th of the given year. If you do not do the classes in-house, you can get it online from Richmond County Community College, Alamance County Community College, or the North Carolina Justice Academy. Instructors, remember you must successfully test out of each class in order to teach it. Also, if you are an instructor, do not forget to go to the North Carolina Justice Academy website and do your annual instructor update. This is how you will get to keep your general instructor certification. Note, if it is time for your North Carolina general instructor certification to be renewed, you must complete the mandatory 1-hour training online through the North Carolina Justice Academy training portal. This training is new each year and it's posted on January 1st and takes no time to complete. If you fail to do this every year, your GI certification will be revoked. You no longer need to fill out the old forms and send them in to renew. Your certification will automatically renew when they see you have successfully completed the mandatory training. As always, it is our chapter's goal to continue to provide quality training for our members across the state at a cost-effective price. We thank you for your support and our efforts by attending the training, and we only want to widen our efforts. Thank you, Mr. President.
All right, thank you, Christine. And I'll put in one additional plug for the Telecommunicator Training Symposium. Just as a reminder, it's October 4th through 6th at Embassy Suites in Greensboro. The full symposium schedule has been posted and is available on our website. Additionally, our special room rate with Embassy Suites is open only through this coming Monday, September 20th. So if you are attending and have not made reservations, please try to do that today if at all possible. So again, the full schedule and more information is available www.tcsymposium.org, or you can also visit the North Carolina APCO website. It's ncapco.org. So we hope that you'll take advantage of this before the deadline for the lodging there. Moving on in our reports, the next is our treasurer's report. And due to staffing issues at her local center, our North Carolina APCO treasurer, Lori Laughlin, was not able to join us today. So I will share the treasurer's report on her behalf. In our main checking account, the current balance is $3,286.11. In the Symposium account, total balance is $1,994.25. In our scholarship account, total balance $1,432. The money market account has $49,285.12, making for total assets of $55,997.48. And also an update on our audit, that a date has been set in early November to audit the financial records from our last year. So hopefully we will have that information to present to you during our November chapter meeting. So now as we move on into our region reports, we will start with Regional Ambassador for Region A, and I'm going to recognize Herman Weiss and Amanda Ward to present for Region A today.
Thank you, Mr. President. So I got a lot of feedback from Region A. Perquimans County is saying that they would like to hire 2 more telecommunicators part-time. Jones-Lenore has 3 positions open as of now. Applicants must submit to Lenore County EMS communications applications to the Lenore County Human Resource Department, P.O. Box 3289, Kinston, North Carolina 28502. Applications can be downloaded from Lenore County's website, www.lenorecountync.gov. She also did report that incomplete or unsigned applications will not be processed. New Hanover County is currently taking applications for 3 full-time positions, as well as looking to bring on overfills. Special recognition to their supervisor, Austin Allgood, for graduating from the CPE class this summer. They're anticipating that their new 911 center to complete early spring if all goes well. We're currently busy with in-house training of new staff. No training scheduled yet. They also asked for a special prayer request for a Captain David McAlpine with New Hanover County Sheriff's Department. He is currently fighting for his life. He is in ICU on a ventilator with COVID. Carteret County has 8 vacancies at this time. Anybody interested can apply through Carteret County government. We are hiring on a rolling basis. We do require that applicants take the critical test. Carteret County also advised that they've been operating through staffing challenges, which has been especially difficult during the summer months in Carteret County with the COVID-19 Delta variant. However, our staff has preserved. Our county EMS and emergency management personnel have stepped in to assist during this time, which we're thankful for them helping fill in the gaps. Overall, our people have been resilient and exemplary, making sure that staffing. They wanted to let us know that their telecommunicators are doing good. They're in the process of seeking quotes for new consoles. Bertie County currently has 2 full-time positions, also seeking certified part-timers as well. Bertie County also said they're finally EMD certified and starting to make a little progress with taking EMS calls. Our sheriff has mandated the vaccine mandatory for all staff. They said that they have a few on the fence, so prayers are needed that they don't lose any more staffing. Here in Chowan County, we are fully staffed at this time. And if Amanda is on here, I will turn it over to Amanda to let her report on Gates County.
Gates County, it's pretty simple. We were finally fully staffed, and we've now lost 3 within the last month. So we are currently accepting applications for 2 full-timers, which is actually closing today. We do have a couple of part-time interviews scheduled, so hopefully we can get the part-time roster filled again. And we will be looking to fill a 3rd full-time position in March, once I have one that will be retiring after 25 years.
And with that being said, I think that is all we have, Mr. President.
Okay, very good. Thank you, Herman. Our next report is for Region B. Marissa Allwalters is unable to be with us today, and Christine Moore has her report.
Thank you, Mr. President. Wake Forest Police Department has 2 telecommunicator positions open. They are posted on their website. UNC Chapel Hill has a telecommunicator position open, and Cary 911 just completed renovations of their 911 center, including new floors, lighting, ceilings, and consoles. They also have 1 telecommunicator position open and have 1 shift supervisor retiring in November. That is the regional update.
All right, thank you, Christine. Our next region is Region C, and I'll recognize Chad Deese.
Good morning. Fayetteville PD is reporting that they currently have 9 vacancies, and the position will be posted next week at the cityoffayetteville.org. Fayetteville went live August the 25th with the EZNet. They're reporting that they are experiencing 911 abandoned call issue that several PSAPs are seeing as well, but other than that, the issues are minimal. Brunswick County is reporting that they have 3 telecommunicator positions and 1 call taker position open. They're working and has given me the link. However, I'm not able to show that as far as the recruitment video. And their current projects, they are replacing all their AV equipment and monitors in their system. They're scheduled to go live on the EZNet for September the 28th, and they are relocating their backup site. Columbus County they have 8 open positions, and they have their positions posted at their website as well as www.columbuscounty.org. They're in the process of switching over to the state Viper radio system, and they're attempting to move their backup center as well from Washington Street, Whiteville, over to the James B. White Highway in Whiteville. Lumberton, they have 1 position. They also have their position posted on their city's website. They want to recognize Shift Supervisor Monica Reed that has been promoted to the CAD specialist. They're slated to go. They're already on this. They're slated to go on I-3 September the 23rd, and they would like to report that their MC 7500 project that they got grant funding is now complete. Us here at Robinson, we have 4 open positions, and we, as well as everybody else, has our positions posted on our county website. Would like to recognize Ms. Katrina Oxendine, which has been recently promoted to our training officer, and we are scheduled ourselves to go live on the 21st, which is Tuesday, on the EZNet. That's all I have.
All right, thank you, Chad. All right, our next report comes from Region D and Shantae Griffith.
Okay, good morning, Mr. President. Burlington Communications has 2 full-time applicants and 1 part-time applicant finishing up the hiring process. If all goes well, they hope to have them hired by the 1st of October. They currently are looking to fill 2 more full-time positions and also taking applications for part-time. Their center was unfortunately affected by COVID-19, but all employees are improving and should be returning to work soon. North Carolina A&T Police Communications has filled 2 full-time positions, but currently has 1 vacant part-time position. Additionally, we have filled our new IT position. We're really excited about that. And last but not least, Guilford Metro was able to hire 7 new telecommunicators on August 16th. They will complete rookie school on October 6th and enter their hands-on training phase. This will put them at 15 vacancies. But we would like to congratulate Master Telecommunicator Dana Hall on his retirement on August 31st after 30 years of service. We definitely appreciate his service and dedication, and all of his knowledge, skills, and talents will be truly missed. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Shantae. And our next region report comes from Region E, Samantha Dutch.
Good morning. So I did not get a response from from those in my region. However, Scotland County is currently in the interview process for one full-time telecommunicator position. Once we hire for that, we are going to be fully staffed, hopefully, unless we get someone to leave before then. So I also wanted to shout out and give a quick thank you to Jonathan Lemond, MJ Campbell, and John Hudson. They are three of our tactical dispatch team members that were able to deploy to Haywood County to assist them during their recent flooding event. So they deployed after spending 2 days searching for a missing person here in Scotland County. So they were pretty busy that whole week. But that's all I have.
All right, thank you, Samantha. Greg Dodson was not able to be with us, so I will defer to Brian Drum in the NENA meeting for any updates from the Western region.
I don't have anything to report from the Western region. Sorry about that, Grayson.
Okay, no, perfect. Sorry, I didn't mean to put you on the spot, but I do appreciate it. And Kristen, you did not get a report from Greg, correct?
I did not.
Okay, just wanted to make sure we didn't leave it out. So real fast, I just have a few quick updates that I wanted to share. First off, thank you to everyone who joined us at APCO 2021 in San Antonio last month. On Monday night, we had our annual chapter dinner at Landry's Seafood House. We had nearly 35 people from North Carolina join us for that chance to come together as our chapter. And I would be remiss if I didn't recognize Gerald Anderson for her hard work in coordinating the venue, the dinner, and all of the logistics of it. And also a quick thank you to Carbine for their sponsorship of the dinner. And I apologize, I'm having some serious problems here today, but as of a few days ago, North Carolina APCO is excited to have 1,555 members. And last month, for the first time ever, APCO International capped over 36,000 members in the entire organization. So that's an exciting number for both our local chapter and APCO International. The membership renewal season does begin in October, so be on the lookout for your membership renewal information coming out to your agencies in the upcoming weeks. And also for any North Carolina APCO Life members, when you receive or if you receive your membership invoice, please be sure to reach out to Treasurer Lori Laughlin, and she will be able to get that taken care of for you. So now before we adjourn, if any members have any comments or questions, please use the chat or QA section below to submit those. And while we're doing that, I will just go ahead and announce our next chapter meeting is scheduled for Friday, November 19th, 2021 at Guilford Metro 911. This will be a very special chapter meeting commemorating the 60th anniversary of the first ever North Carolina APCO chapter meeting, which actually took place in Greensboro on November 14th, 1961. So more details will be forthcoming about the event, but hope you will go ahead and mark your calendars now for Friday, November 19th. And you'll be able to join us as we celebrate the 60-year founding anniversary of North Carolina APCO.
Mr. President, I'm not seeing any questions in the chat or the Q&A.
Okay, perfect. So hearing no further questions or comments, I will now adjourn this September 17th, 2021 chapter meeting of North Carolina APCO and then turn things back over to our event MC, Christine Moore.
Thank you, Mr. President. So now we are getting ready to do some presentations by our corporate partners. I am very pleased to introduce Jennifer Taylor with Horizon Consoles by SBFI. And Jennifer?
Hi.
Turn it over to you.
Thank you. I just wanted to turn my camera on for a second to say hello to everyone in person. And thank you all for everything that you do. We really appreciate your services. And thank you for giving me time. I have 10 minutes to tell you a little bit more about SBFI this morning. So I'm going to turn off my camera and share my presentation and get started. Okay, so again, thank you for giving me time this morning to talk about SBFI, but really what I want to do is tell you a little bit about who we are, how we work, and just our process so that you learn a little bit more about us. The first thing I want to do this morning is talk about, are you SBFI or are you Horizon Consults? I get that question quite a lot, and if I do nothing else this morning but clear that up, that will be just a great achievement. So SBFI Group is our parent company. And within that parent company, we have several different divisions, one being SBFI Financial. And that division does technical furniture for trading floors all over the world. If you're looking for that type of furniture, you know who SBFI is. Another division is ARC Workspace, and that is our monitor arm division, and we do monitor arms for lots of different industries, and so we've sort of separated that out. Yes,
I'm
sir.
sorry to interrupt. Your screen is not sharing. I'm not sure if you were trying to share something or not.
I was. So hold on, let's see. Let's see if we can get that fixed.
There you go. That is it. Sorry to interrupt.
No, I'm glad you did, because that would have been terrible. Okay. So there's the screen that I was talking about as far as the different divisions. So you see at the top, it's that SBFI Group, and then the different divisions below, the SBFI Financial, the ARC, and then Horizon Consults. That's what everyone on this call is more familiar with. That is our mission critical division. We do mission critical furniture for many industries, but of course, public safety is one of them, and I head up the public safety division of Horizon Consults. So that is why you hear SBFI and you hear Horizon. We're the same company, but I really just wanted to clear that up. We are global. I think this is important for everyone to understand. We have manufacturing facilities in the UK, Asia, and the US, but lucky for North Carolina, our manufacturing facility for the US is out of Asheville, North Carolina. So considering this, you can really understand why we're super invested in North Carolina, and we are very, very proud to be a sponsor for NENA and APCO North Carolina chapter. It means a lot to us, so thank you for having me again this morning. So I wanted to touch on a couple things about us being from North Carolina and why that's unique and beneficial to you. It's not just about being located in North Carolina. The owner of the company, it's pretty profound. He actually owns a paint and powder facility, a wood facility, a fabrication facility, and a heat treating facility all in North Carolina. And that means he basically owns that supply chain. What does that really mean to you? Well, what it means is a lot of support for North Carolina, but also it means we can design anything that you want, tweak things from your room shapes and your needs, and do it very cost efficiently. And it's even been a more important aspect since COVID. Having control of that supply chain, we really have been able to continue business as usual. The next thing I think is super important for any vendor that you're looking for, if you are looking for furniture, is how does that process look? So SBFI, we have dedicated project teams. We have design consultant and engineer, project manager, and installation team from the start to finish. But you typically only have one point of contact. And in for North Carolina, that would be me. We take that floor plan, we do analysis, equipment analysis, site plan analysis, everything to really personalize your project. And since COVID started, I really wanted to share something that I think is important. We haven't been able to get people into centers to see furniture. So I wanted to show you something that we've done and implemented since COVID started. We can take your room and really make a walkthrough with VR goggles, 360 floor plans, and really give you that experience of what your room is going to look like, because as you had talked this morning, you're short-staffed, you can't get into centers. We're really trying to make it easier for each and every one of you through this process. So I wanted to make sure you understand that that is something new we are doing. I'm going to get on just to jump in some pictures because I know we're on a time constraint and I want to make sure you see some of our lovely furniture. The first slide I'm showing here, this is just an example of a dispatch console that can be laid out many different ways based on your space, whether it be pods or 90 degrees or linears. We really take your equipment and try to make the furniture designed specifically to your room. This is one of my favorite North Carolina 911 centers. And I really wanted to show you this picture, and some of the important things for this client was collaboration between the end users, lighting system with the users. They implemented a specific lighting system that works for the operators and call takers internally. And then implementing storage at each of them was very, very important. So you can see here is a closer picture of the storage and those collaboration areas. And I really wanted to show this slide because that console on the left, that is a fully cabled console. So one of our main goals is just keeping everything tidy and easy for you to work at the desk, for IT, just making everything simplified. We also take simplification into housing your equipment. So before I even look at a console, I have to see your equipment list to really figure out what design is going to work in that space. This is another one I wanted to show you that I just love. This customer is a North Carolina PSAP. Their main goal was acoustics. It was very important to get those supervisors raised up and have acoustics, not only at the console, but if you can see from this picture, around the room. They really were very specific about wanting sound control in their room. The last picture I want to show is a dispatch console, but a little bit different entity. They came to me and they said, hey, Jennifer, I want to have one console, but I want to be able to at any time connect two consoles to operate as one. So I said, oh, okay. So we worked for a very long time, came up with this design concept. They can go from this setup to this setup very easily by connecting two consoles as one and operating as one. So they can train on one side of the station and have the operator on the other side of the station. And I only have about 2 minutes left, so I want to show this side next. This is where I see things going in the next several years in furniture for 911. Equipment seems to be getting a little smaller underneath and getting bigger up top. And this is what we call our equipment pod. So it is a more of a compact design to really maximize that real estate, but housing the equipment in a different manner. So if you see at the top of the screen, that pod is where all the equipment goes. So cabling, heat management, lighting, everything is secured in that pod. And if you see on the bottom is where the pod opens. So your IT group or your customer never has to climb on the floor, get to the equipment. Everything is very ergonomically sound and easy to get to. We're not here just yet, but I do see a lot more of the public safety moving in this direction. So that's why I chose this slide today. Here is what it looks like in the room, the newest design. And that's it. I stayed right under my 10 minutes, Christine. And I really just wanted to put my name up here because if any of you are interested in learning more, of course, you can contact me directly. But again, thank everybody for the time this morning, for really putting those listening ears on and giving me the chance to show what we do. And thank you to both of the chapters for always supporting the sponsors so much. We really do appreciate it. Have a great day.
Thank you so much, Jennifer. It does appear as though we do have a question from Amy Oakley.
Okay.
And I will see if I can allow her to talk.
Okay.
Amy. All right. Amy, can you hear me? Are you able to unmute? All right. Going once, going twice. Amy, if you do have a question, just put it in the chat and I will be sure to pass that along to Jennifer. Jennifer, if you are good with stopping the sharing of your screen, that will be great.
Yes.
I really appreciate that presentation. Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Our next presenter will be Vic Williams with Carolina Recording Systems.
It helped if I get unmuted there. So welcome everyone. I'm currently, I'm with Carolina Recording Systems. I'm your senior account manager for the state of North Carolina. I'd like everybody to join with me in celebrating CRS's 20th year anniversary this year. It's a really good moment in time. CRS has been around for a long time, and I can't speak highly enough for the team that we have in place to support each and every one of you who have chosen us as your recording solution. I'd like to say thank you for that. One of the big things that we like to hang our hat on is that we're not just a vendor. We are your partner. Partnerships are where it all happens. When we're partnering with you as a PSAP, we're partnering you with as a police department or a sheriff's office. We're there to support you in whatever you may need. It may be that you have a question about technology that you just need somebody to sound off on to get some ideas. We're here to help you any way we can. We have a great team of people in place. Most of you know Cliff Kinsey. Cliff is amazing. I would put Cliff up against anybody in the industry when it comes to technology in the 911 world. One of the things that we would like to make sure that all of our customers are aware of is that if you have a technology change coming up in your center, via the North Carolina EZNet, you're going to a different CAD system, changing out some radio, adding an AIS, any of those kind of things, please make sure you reach out to myself, to our help desk, make sure we're aware of your changes that are coming, because there may need to be changes on your recording solution to be able to integrate those with your recorder. So that is very important. So make sure you reach out to our help desk and let us know, or myself, if you're going to make any changes. So the next thing I wanted to speak to is with Carolina Recording Systems, marks my 40th year in the industry. 40 years ago, I was a young buck that was drug into a fire department, which began my love and passion for emergency services, whether it be fire, EMS, law, 911, all of these first responders I've been affiliated with one way or another. Networking amongst all of these different disciplines has probably been the biggest thing in my career that could have ever happened to me. And I would like to encourage each and every one of you to never stop networking. For example, when I worked with the North Carolina Highway Patrol, Jason Stewart, who's now the director at Martin County 911, and I both worked side by side as a telecommunicator. When they closed Troop A Communications, Jason went to Martin County 911. Who did I reach out to when the sheriff brought me in to help him with his 911 center? Jason. Of course, Jason said, "What are you thinking?" But with that said, it was one of the best moves I ever made. Jason recommended that I get involved with North Carolina APCO and North Carolina NENA to network and meet people throughout the industry. And I did. First meeting I went to, I showed up an hour early and I thought I was in the wrong place because nobody was there. And then everybody started funneling in. And the current sitting president with NC NENA was Philip Penny, which I have become great friends with. And Philip comes in and introduces himself, says, "You're at the right place. You'll meet a lot of folks." I look around and I'm like, really? I don't see many people here is what I'm thinking. And then they start funneling in. And at the table that I was sitting at in Apex, North Carolina, Melanie Neal, a couple others from Greensboro, some other ones came in and sat down at the same table. I think Donna Wright may have sat down there. But I quickly met people that could help me on my new track to rebuilding a 911 center. And Melanie, and I'd like to thank you personally because you answered so many questions for me over the years. And Jason Stewart was a great help, Philip Penny. But my point is never stop networking. Find that group of people, find that niche, find those folks that you can be friends with and communicate with, and they will hold your hand through anything you deal with in the 911 industry. And from Carolina Recording Systems, we're here to do the same thing for you. Don't hesitate to call. If there's something you need, we're here to support you and help you in any way we can. I'd like to thank you for your time, and I'm going to share my contact information on the chat in case you don't have it, and feel free to reach out to me if there's something I can help you with. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Vic, for that presentation, and congratulations on the anniversary for Carolina Recording Systems. And thank you for serving the 911 community for as long as you have. All right, our next presenters will be from Motorola Solutions. We have Joe Knox and Derek Duggins.
Hey, good morning. Can you hear me, Christine?
We sure can.
Hey, everybody. Joseph Knox of Motorola Solutions, the account manager for Eastern North Carolina. Also have Derek Duggins on with us, who serves on the APCO International Board of Directors. We are here today to talk to you about some of our software platforms, as well as our end-to-end solution that we're able to offer as part of Motorola Solutions to support you guys on a day-to-day basis. So with that being said, I'm going to get this turned over to Derek as I pull our presentation up.
Awesome. Thanks, Joseph. It's good to see everybody, even in the virtual environment. So thanks for giving us the opportunity to not only be your partner, as Vic said, true partnerships are important, and finding those true commercial folks to work with to provide you that true partnership is more so important. So we appreciate the opportunity to be your partners across the state of North Carolina and across the country. With that, so we've got 10 minutes, and those of you that know me well and know that I like to talk. So I'm going to get right to what we're presenting on today. I even have a stopwatch going in the background, Grayson. So don't worry, I won't go too much over time. So today, Motorola has a lot to offer from an end-to-end platform and solution. So we'd like to just share a high-level view of what that platform looks like, give you a great update on where we are as far as technology, specifically in the software world, and how that all comes together. My technology, unfortunately, with internet is pretty slow up here in the mountains of Virginia. So I'm going to turn it over to Joseph to drive this presentation. So Joseph, if you could go ahead and move to the next slide, I appreciate it. So what we're finding in the industry as a whole is four focus areas that we'd like to help solve problems with. And those four focus areas are: one, streamlining workflow and communication within our public safety platforms and our public safety agencies; improving your situational awareness, both as a frontline first responder and those folks that you support in the field, as well as the citizens that you serve. In addition to that, simplifying all of the data that is now associated with all of the pieces and parts of technology that make up what we use and the tools that we provide for providing that service to our citizens and our communities. And finally, the most important piece that we'll speak to during this quick presentation is ensuring that you always have a great software, a great platform, great technology that is most importantly well supported both now and long term as we move into the evolution of the future. Joseph, if you'll pass along to the next slide. How we're looking at solving these four issues is Motorola, through acquisitions, partnerships, through developing evolution technology over the last 92 years, we have created the first and only true mission critical ecosystem built for public safety to meet those needs. And again, the important piece here is that true integrated mission critical ecosystem. So go to the next slide. I'd like to share what that looks like. What we're finding in the industry and why this is important is we're seeing that items are disparate and disconnected. Now, they may be interfaced one vendor to another. Within the vendor may even be disparate from both an operational standpoint, but then also from a financial standpoint. Where this year I may have capital expenses in my budget to only buy radios, to only purchase a CAD system or a record system, to only look at a recording logging system. What we're able to do now through our integrated platform system, Joseph, move to the next slide, if you will, is take all of these systems within Motorola, outside of Motorola, with other vendors, with other partners, and streamline and make the operational process efficient and streamline, the integration streamline, but also the financial side more streamlined. So as opposed to having a capital expense for this year in my budget where I can only purchase one item or two items, now Motorola is in a position where we can help you on an OpEx basis, where we're doing subscription models, where we're putting you into programs that you pay over time and we upgrade you during those times. At the end of that time, you're upgraded and refreshed with new hardware, with new software upgrades, et cetera. That way, as you evolve, your technological needs evolve, as technology advances, we can continue to keep you ahead of those advances and ahead of your needs, both again, from an operational integration standpoint, but also from a financial status. Joseph, next slide, please. And how we've done that is Motorola, again, not only are we able to provide the tools and the solutions within our platform from end to end, but we're also able to integrate those again, truly integrate those to where they talk to each other. And this is a really high level example of what that platform looks like. So from the time a call come in, if you follow me from the left-hand side of the screen to the right-hand side of the screen, following this model here, from the time a call comes in from a citizen, whether it be via 911, whether it be from a camera system, a smart camera system using our Command Central Aware technology that understands and sees an anomaly. It sees traffic flowing in the wrong direction at 2 o'clock in the morning. Whether it's a tip submit app that a citizen uses out in the community, whether it's a frontline responder, wherever that information comes in to initiate the call. It's beyond CAD, it's beyond records. It's a single view into the entire life cycle of an incident. So from the time that call comes in from the citizen or from the community to the time that it goes through the call taking process. So now with our Vesta solution, our call taking, call work solution, feeding into and integrating with our CAD options and solutions, whether that's our Premier One CAD, whether that's our Spillman Flex CAD, whether that's our Command Central CAD and suite in the cloud, whatever that product is that fits your agency best, it's integrated through that workflow, integrating with the 7,500 consoles. So from one screen, not only am I taking that call in, but I'm also have the operational function with Vesta right there at one screen. I also can work and process and work through my radio system, communicating with the 7,500 consoles and our APCO subscribers out in the field. I'm able to see those GPS locations out in the field, tracking the car, but then the officer and life safety needs for that officer when they leave the car. Integrating with that radio system, you can see at the top, integrating through LTE, through the radio, through body-worn cameras, through our WatchGuard solution, being able to see and tap into those WatchGuard cameras from the console position. You have those permissions if you want to do that operation. Moving through our telecommunicator and our analysts, that situational awareness, again, our aware, speaking to smart cameras, and they can be Motorola cameras or they can be third-party cameras. But having that compatibility to integrate with our telecommunicators and see that frontline view and have a call initiated before a 911 call is even brought in. Having that situational awareness out there before even a person is able to see that incident happen. Having those smart artificial intelligence cameras being able to communicate that to us. Going through our records specialists and our law enforcement partners. And then our analytics on the back end and investigating those incidents. And all the way through the entire platform to the time someone's incarcerated. And the important thing here to look at is that it all is hubbed around this CAD and records software piece, where everything is integrated, connected, and with a single click of a button, I can compile all of this data, all of this information into one place that's accessible, it's organized, and it's integrated, and it's connected. So if I want to do a call or see information on Joseph Knox or his call history for his location, all of that's integrated in one single location. Again, talking to LTE, body-worn, radio, LMR, that true integrated platform from end to end. And you'll find in North Carolina specifically, a majority of you already have 75, 80% of this capability and this functionality with Motorola. So the software then takes those functional pieces that you have with the investments you've already made and maximizes that functionality. Where instead of using 80% of your radio's capability or 80% of your call taking capability, it now integrates that to where you're using 100% now and moving forward. Joseph, if you could go to the next slide. Where we've done this, over 3,500 software deployments across North America. 97% of our customers combine at least our 911 CAD or our jail system. Over 500 record system deployments across North America. We're in 29 of the 50 largest US cities in North America with multiple statewide law enforcement deployments. We're very proud to be a partner in North Carolina. We're very proud as a Motorola partner long-term to continue our reputation, to continue our partnership, to bring the software pieces there to complete that puzzle of that software integration, that complete platform. Now, this is the most important slide that I'd like to finish with. Long-term partnership, solution that grows with you, and how we are doing that. Not only are we taking the 92 years of experience and reputation that we have in the LMR business, but we have that also in the software, and we're going to take it forward another 90 plus years. And how we grow with you is we have options with our software, and I'll speak specifically to CAD records, whether it's an on-premise solution with our Premier One or our Flex, whether it's our cloud solution with Command Central Cloud Suite that we just launched in June. Very proud of that new product that we have. Or whether it's a hybrid solution, whether it be a technological limitation that you or the cloud environment has as a whole that we're seeing industry-wide, or whether it's that your agency's not quite ready to move completely to the cloud. We have hybrid solutions that we can offer, starting with an on-premise, moving to the cloud with entitlement, pieces of the cloud as well to support that hybrid as technology advances and you're ready as an agency. With that comes options of financial options, whether it's a traditional capital expenditure, whether it's a SaaS model, whether it's full managed services where you don't touch anything and Motorola does it for you. We want to be that solution, that partner that offers you those options, your one-stop solution. No end of life. As we evolve, again, that entitlement, as technology advances change, your needs change, we're there with you. We stay ahead of that. And then finally, going along with our partnerships and our reputation, unrivaled customer retention. Our software, we have over 88, 90% customer retention since the 1970s on our software platforms. And we're proud to continue that, support that partnership. Personally, North Carolinian, member of the APCO Board of International Directors, proud to serve, proud to support you wherever we can. As Vic said, a true partner, not just selling you something, but here to be with you now as you grow and moving forward and be able to offer those solutions that adapt to your needs as well and those citizens that you serve. So thank you so much for the opportunity to be a partner, and thank you for the opportunity to present today.
Thank you so much, Derek and Joe. We appreciate you being here. And Derek, congratulations on being sworn into your new position on the International Board. So one thing before we move into North Carolina, Nina's portion of this meeting is I wanted to cover our North Carolina Public Safety Communications Conference, Joint Conference Committee, and to send out an invite to any of our membership that would like to participate in this committee or any of our subcommittees. So be thinking about whether or not you have an interest of serving on the Budget and Finance Subcommittee, the Attendee Registration and Relations Subcommittee, Vendor Registration and Relations Subcommittee, Education Subcommittee, Conference Decoration Subcommittee, the Administration Subcommittee, which is handling certificates, evaluations, and post-event wrap-up, and the Technology Subcommittee, which is helping with AV, IT, and virtual needs. So if you have any interest in serving on any of these committees, please reach out to one of your board members and we will get you linked up.